and herzlich willkommen. This is Vivesco Active Living. My name is Martina and today we're going through some push-ups. Alrighty, today we're going to tackle push-ups. Usually a fairly simple exercise, everyone heard of them, everyone knows them, and still I see them get done wrongly or in a risky way, and it really kind of hurts looking. So, initially we're going to start with setup form. You want to have your hands just beside your chest, so if you're looking on the floor, ideally this is where you want your hands. Okay, so if we're just talking about good setup, good form, all that kind of stuff, you want your hands so your fingertips are kind of in line with your shoulders, nice and tight, tucked around the rib cage here, and then this is where the push-up actually happens. Yeah, so fairly close, fairly tough to actually do. So I'm just going to do this on my knees. From here, you would then go just straight down to push straight back up. Now, there's nothing wrong to take your hands a bit wider or even rotate your hands out or in, whatever you need to do. Lately, I've come across quite a few videos kind of bagging the wide flared push-ups. And everything always has a positive and a negative to it. As long as you are doing them with a good form, there's nothing wrong with them. Yes, you're not working just your triceps. It's a broader, broad position, broader exercise move that way. One thing to look out for would be, as you do it, to not slump through the back. I'm not sure if you can see that as I'm doing it here. So I'm in a wide position, which is nothing bad, but what I'm doing here is I'm letting my shoulders kind of drop in and drop to the floor. This is not what we want in this position. We want to be able to keep our back, so you're fairly wide open through the back here, and you want to be able to try and keep that position. So even now that you're going down, the back stays open. It can take a bit of conscious effort, but what it does is it stabilizes the whole shoulder girdle. It keeps everything nice and open. You're not compressing through anything. You're not falling into out of form. So you're just keeping it nice and safe. Okay, so there's your wide setup. The same kind of goes for your narrow ones, but because you're narrow through the shoulders anyway, it's a bit harder to actually fall through here. So you want to kind of try and keep that back nice and open as you move through. So keeping strong through the front, you're locking that in and then moving through the actual shoulder joint rather than moving, letting the whole shoulder move back into it. Obviously you can do your push-ups on your knees or on your feet. However, if you are doing them on your feet, you want to make sure that you have control from your shoulders all the way down to your feet. You need your shoulders and your hips to be connected and move together in one plane. So as you go down, it all goes down together and it comes up back together. Now, it doesn't matter how deep you go. If you want to do them on your toes to work on your strength and you only manage here, personally, I would probably tell you to bring it to your knees, or, and I'll go into that later, do them still in a plank position, but in a higher, in an elevated position, which makes it easier. So you're still working through the exact same positioning, but slightly easier than being in a full horizontal. Being on your knees, though, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with it, particularly if you're a full-on beginner. Simply more so for me as well, because it actually challenges your wrist. A lot of people have issues with their wrists, The more you come in an elevated position, the less pressure on your wrist joints. So that can help as well if you are experiencing problems through here. But if not, or if you need to work on this, then being down here is a good position to be in. So we talked about being on your knees, we talked about being on your feet, being able to keep your hips and your shoulders connected. Just going to show you what I wouldn't want you to do. For example, is what I often see with push-ups, people kind of go, you can see these variations. So kind of more the floor humping kind of ones, where there's still a bit of a flare happening through, that actually just hurt me then. Bit of a movement happening through the elbows, but it's really coming through the hips, which is, yeah, not what we're after on this movement. What you can also sometimes see is the hips stay up and all that goes down is the front. But as you can maybe see, it's again not my arms that actually do the work, it's my head. Yeah, I'm dropping through the chest here. I'm leading my nose and my forehead towards the floor. Again, not what we want for a push-up. We want to keep everything in line, everything moves together and comes up together. What we at Vivasco Active Living though like to do is play with our hand print, with our hand positioning. Simply to change how that push-up enters into our body and gets distributed through our body. So, as I said, there's nothing wrong as long as you keep in a safe position and do the movement properly. It doesn't matter where your hands are positioned. Okay, so from here, all we do, usually we go like for up to a minute. So on your knees, and then you take your hands into different positions. You can rotate, you can take one out, leave one behind, take one behind, leave one forward. There's no wrong or right, well there's no wrong, there's a lot of rights, but there's no wrong. As long as you keep head, shoulders and hips moving together, keeping the back open and keeping the head aligned. And I know mine has dropped a couple of times throughout the demonstration here. So I'm just trying to be a bit more mindful of what I'm doing. Happens when you talk. So yeah, we want to try and keep our neck in line with our spine. Obviously, cervical spine is part of the spine. Keep it in line. Don't become a chicken as you go through your push-ups. All right, now just a quick one. For your elevated push-ups, you can use a wall. Bring your hands, I don't know, just about rib cage height onto the wall and then step it back so you're in a nice strong plank position here, and then from here you do your push-ups into your wall. Again, hand positioning can be a bit more narrow, might have to step up, keeping the elbows tucked in as you move through those push-ups, and that will make it a lot easier. You don't have to go onto your knees, because for some people they've got knee issues, so that could be a problem as well. So your elevated push-ups are definitely a good solution. Just want to repeat myself again, I personally don't think there's anything wrong to put your push-ups onto your knees, to have your arms flared wide, as long as you keep good form and intent with everything else. So good luck with your push-ups. I hope you can improve from here on. And in diesem Sinne, tschö und bis bald.